As of the end of June 2025, there is now a rumor about an upcoming July Nintendo Direct from YouTuber Beat'em which has some very interesting Animal Crossing related predictions. Now, I don't know Beat'em personally, but I do watch some of his videos time to time while exercising on the treadmill. I have even subscribed to Beat'em on my personal YouTube account, so those video options always show up in my feed as options to watch. So if this is your first time here, be like me and make sure to subscribe down below. But as I mentioned before, I don't know Beat'em and I only really watch from time to time, so I don't know how reliable of a source he is when it comes to rumors like this. However, this is not intended to be a rumor news confirmation video per se. Whether the nitty-gritty details of these rumors are true or false doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but the rumors themselves have made me start thinking more about the Nintendo Switch 2 Animal Crossing situation, and I thought it would be a good conversation to have. As for the rumor itself, we have it here from our Gaming Links and Rumors subreddit. Popular Nintendo YouTuber Beat'em claims there will be a Nintendo Direct next month. He lists some games here that are being predicted that will be shown at this Direct. I'm sure these are only some of the games and not all of the games that the Direct will cover. But we have Metaphor ReFantazio, which I hear is a great RPG. I actually own it on PS5. It's in my backlog, but I have not played that yet. But just style-wise, that looks like that would be a great one for the Nintendo Switch 2. GameCube Shadow Drop, such as Pokemon Coliseum, that's a really brave prediction right there. We already know that game is confirmed coming to the Nintendo Switch GameCube online service, so that wouldn't be that big of a surprise. Death Stranding Director's Cut S. I'm not that interested in Death Stranding. I think I have it on Epic Games Store, actually. They gave it away for free, but, have not booted that one up. Witcher 3 Nintendo Switch 2 edition, okay. Metroid Prime 4 release date, another brave prediction right there. But, that's already slated for 2025, so they gotta announce it sometime, so July is as good a time as ever. And one more thing, Isabelle teaser for Animal Crossing 2026. Now that one has got me interested. Typically, when I see details and rumors like this, such as it specifically being a one more thing segment, it makes me roll my eyes a bit. So I'm not 100% convinced the specifics of this rumor are true yet. Specifics such as it being a July Direct, a one last thing segment, or an Isabelle teaser don't really interest me all that much. It's the 2026 release year that I feel like I can get behind. Let's talk about why 2026 makes so much sense for a release year for the next Animal Crossing game and why it's so smart of Nintendo to do so. First off, Animal Crossing New Horizon came out in the year 2020. So that means in the year 2026, it will have been 6 years since the last Animal Crossing game came out. Some of the biggest AAA games have 8-year-long development cycles, so 6 years is a pretty long time for a Nintendo game. So when you think about it from just a pure development standpoint, 2026 really makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure if that's going to be early 26 or later. When did Animal Crossing New Horizon came out? That came out in like March or April. I mean, that was early during you-know-what. So, yeah, I think that was April 2020. So, and we all know how well that sold. So, I think they might even try to go for that spring section. I don't know if Animal Crossing would be a holiday title, but we know it's a big title. And so, yeah, that would be 6 years. They did have the DLC for a New Horizon, but I'm sure that was just a subset of the development team working on that while they had more core people work on the bigger next project. Much like the Mario Kart 8 Booster Course DLC, they did like 2 waves of that. It's not like that delayed Mario Kart World or anything. Like that was still going on in the background while just a subset of teams, probably like interns or something, were working on new Mario Kart 8 tracks. So I don't want to go from the last content update of Animal Crossing, purely just the release of Animal Crossing. I mean, heck, they probably actually started working on the next Animal Crossing before the Animal Crossing New Horizon actually even came out, because, the game has to be finished well before it can get on store shelves, so they probably already cut over to the next game, at least in, the initial R&D section of the development phase. But I do think it's kind of not the best metric for just purely years since the game came out for a development cycle for when it comes to Nintendo, because, if you look at Nintendo's libraries across their consoles, they usually have only one mainline game per console. So, if the Animal Crossing game could have taken 4 years to develop, they weren't going to release it on Switch 1. They're going to give it more years because there's only going to be one Animal Crossing on Switch 2. I mean, if you're lucky when it comes to a franchise like this, you might get a spin-off game, but there's not going to be a second Animal Crossing on Nintendo Switch 2 unless it's like your Happy Home Designer. Splatoon is a totally different beast. That's a totally different game that got 2 games. I guess Xenoblade 2, but for the most part, you know, a game like this, like Mario Kart, you're getting one per console. And so if they're only going to be releasing one Animal Crossing game for the Nintendo Switch 2, then it is in Nintendo's best interest to release it as early as possible. Now, this early as possible theme is going to cover my next 4 reasons why I think a 2026 release year makes so much sense for Animal Crossing. First off, if 2020 showed us anything, it's that Animal Crossing has the potential to be a system-selling franchise. Now, what do I mean by potential? Because back in 2020, it clearly was a system seller game. And what I mean is that back in 2020, we all know that there was a special circumstance going on. And so that makes this next follow-up Animal Crossing release very interesting. Because on one hand, we can kind of estimate, because of those special circumstances, that this game's going to sell less than the previous one. However, because that previous one had such a big boost in sales because of those special circumstances, that is the best advertisement any game can get. And so now we're in a situation where how many of those previous customers are going to stick around for the next installment of the franchise? How many of those people who have yet to pick up a Switch 2 at launch for just, they want the next Switch 2 system or for Mario Kart, how many of them is Animal Crossing going to push them over the edge to finally purchase a system? Which means, since the Mario Kart bundle is only going to last through the end of 2025, we're going to probably have a few months where there's no special bundles going on at retail. And then when Animal Crossing comes out, odds are that this is going to be the next bundled game to help sell systems even further. I mean, it is in Nintendo's best interest to sell this system as early as possible and as much as possible. If console generations are lasting 8 to 10 years these days, then the earlier they can sell more consoles, then the longer those are in people's hands, and then there's more time that they can spend on subscription services, on digital games, on physical games, they're customers for longer. And so since we kind of already have a pretty packed schedule every month from now to the end of 2025, 2026 is really the earliest opportunity for Nintendo to be able to release Animal Crossing, and again, I think the earlier they can release it, the best in their interest. When it comes to games like Metroid Prime 4, Kirby Air Riders, or the new Hyrule Warriors games, none of these are really system sellers. We have Pokemon Legends, that one, Pokemon is a system seller, but this isn't a mainline Pokemon game, and it's backwards compatible, so there is going to be a Switch 1 version, so I'm not confident that that one in particular is going to be a system seller, not in the same way that a new Animal Crossing would be. And so let's say they do get this out in 2026, and there's an 8 to 10 year life cycle for the Nintendo Switch 2. If we say maybe spring at the earliest, because that's when Animal Crossing New Horizon came out. I mean, that's still in the first year of the Nintendo Switch 2's lifetime, so we're going to have 7 to 9 years left of the Switch 2. And I think that this game, similar to Mario Kart, is going to play a big role in their Nintendo Switch Online strategy. I strongly believe that in the past, in order to pad out their service to give it value, they added the Mario Kart DLC, they added the Splatoon DLC, they added the Animal Crossing DLC to help perceive that that this service had more value, even though most of it is truly just like being able to play online and the Nintendo Switch Online games service. That said, I feel like they did that out of necessity back then, but now that that whole model has been established, I do think they're going to continue to support that similar type of content in the service moving forward. I believe Animal Crossing New Horizon had one paid DLC expansion, and it was given for free in the Nintendo Switch Online service. If they can get this game out early within the first year of the Nintendo Switch 2's life cycle, that leaves more opportunity for multiple paid DLC packs. And if people want to pay for these DLC packs, I think Nintendo's thinking, great, that's awesome. But I truly think that what they want to happen is them to give reason for people to say subscribe to the Nintendo Switch Online service. And so again, the earlier they can release this game, the more opportunity they have to add more content to the game, to keep it alive longer, to give more value to the Nintendo Switch Online service. And like I mentioned before, I kind of think that with the Nintendo Switch 1 and Animal Crossing New Horizon, the whole addition of that DLC content being added in the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack service, I do think that was an accident. I don't think they were intending on doing that, except for the fact that the game sold so well because of the 2020 circumstances. I don't think that they had the intention of supporting it for that long with new content. And because of that whole situation, again, it was a special situation, but it has now proven it has the potential to become one of them system sellers, to be one of those ongoing long services and help people get subscribed to the Nintendo Switch Online service. And so, because it was unplanned back then, at least that's what I truly believe, I think now with the Nintendo Switch 2 and the next Animal Crossing game, the game will be designed to have that longer expected life cycle, to have more updates, to be built with more DLC in mind, and that DLC having that added potential of being included in the Nintendo Switch Online service. And so the third reason why I think it's in Nintendo's best interest to release Animal Crossing in 2026, which I think is going to happen based on the previous game's release date and the development life cycle for this new one, is so that way they can release it early on the Nintendo Switch 2 and then have more time to develop the next Animal Crossing game. And yeah, I kind of cringe at even already talking about the Nintendo Switch 3, but if this experiment with this next one comes out where there is no 2020 special circumstances, if this game can prove itself that it is a system seller franchise, then again, we're going to just repeat the cycle. It's in Nintendo's best interest to make Animal Crossing a launch title for the Nintendo Switch 3. Yes, again, I hate even saying Nintendo Switch 3 right now. It's pretty cringe, but the reality of the situation is the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2 has kind of perfected all of Nintendo's their gimmicks. You know, they got the motion controls, now they have mouse controls, they have all the history of Nintendo. You can play every Nintendo game on the Nintendo Switch 2. We're in the age of digital libraries where Xbox has admitted that they lost the most important generation against PS4 because of the digital libraries, and now Nintendo Switch with their accounts. All those previous Switch 1 games work on Nintendo Switch 2 because of the accounts. I don't think they're going to be straying too far from the Nintendo Switch model anymore. I mean, where else can you go at this point? That said, I do think Nintendo likes to keep it fresh with their launch titles. I mean, look at the GameCube. We had Luigi's Mansion, which was a wacky launch title. Super Smash Bros. Was a launch window game, way more launch window than a 2026 Animal Crossing game. Like we're talking about Donkey Kong Bonanza. But again, we have Donkey Kong as our launch title, not Mario or Zelda. I mean, we have Mario Kart, which is great. But even the Nintendo Wii had Zelda Twilight Princess. And so yeah, since there's not going to be a second full Animal Crossing game on the Nintendo Switch 2, again, we'll get DLC, maybe a spin-off if we're lucky. But there's not going to be another full Animal Crossing game on Nintendo Switch 2. Release the next one early, really early in the life cycle, and get that data. Is this a system seller IP? Based on that data, we have some strong potential data from 2020, but right now we're going to get some really strong data. Can this IP sell a $450 console to the more casual audience? And I truly believe that if this game sells well, if it sells consoles, then, we're going to have 7 to 9 years of development on the next Animal Crossing game. I see no reason why the next version wouldn't be really well aligned for an actual day one launch of the next Nintendo console, whether it be Nintendo Switch 3 or not. And my final reason for why they need to release this next Animal Crossing game early, and specifically in 2026, is I'm just being honest, I need to manifest this. I need this game to come out in 2026. Back for Animal Crossing New Horizon on the Nintendo Switch 1, my wife and I played that game a bunch, and back then, you could buy the digital game and share it between two consoles. I could be logged into both our consoles and download it, and then she can launch it on hers, and we can both play them at the same time. And with the Nintendo Switch 2, well, with the launch of it, because they made this change on Nintendo Switch 1 also, they completely nerfed that, and you can't do that. So already, we're going to have to buy 2 copies of the new Animal Crossing game. I've yet to decide, do I get 2 physical? Do I get 1 physical, 1 digital? I don't know what's going on with this next game. And right now, I have a 2-year-old kid. I have another one on the way. And if they wait any longer than 2026 to release this game, am I going to be in a situation where I need to buy 3 or 4 copies of this game? I mean, I know, I don't need to. I can sit that out. But, if they're at the age where they're able to want to play Animal Crossing and they think it's fun and there's multiplayer and, it could be a good family experience, but $320, I mean, it's going to be tough. It's like, do one of us sit out? Like, do both me and my wife sit out, just let the kids play? But that could be just a really fun experience to just play, like, imagine Animal Crossing New Horizon, everyone's visiting the island, whatever they decide to do for that game, like, it just might be an experience that just like a once in a lifetime that I wouldn't want to miss out on. And, I'm in a situation where, I could probably afford the $320, but man, it sounds crazy. It's tough. Like, let's get this game released in 2026 where they're not old enough to be hyped about the game, where they're hyped to know about, like, the whole playing together type of thing. Like, allow me and my wife to, let's buy 2 copies of the game and then enjoy it for a while. And then when they're old enough, then they can play our 2 copies of the game. So yeah, maybe that's not the best prediction or reasoning why the game is going to come out in 2026. But if it does, just put it out there. I'm trying to manifest it. We need Animal Crossing to come out in 2026. I don't care what anyone else has to say. Maybe that's dumb. Like, I need this to happen. Let's do it, because Switch 3 comes out, launch title. Like, pack it in with the $50, just like the Mario Kart, and then I can stomach it way better. At that point, geez, buy 4 Switch 3s at that point, but at least we'll be able to all get Animal Crossing bundled in and then play together as a family. Let's do that. Let's make that happen. But what do you guys think? Do you believe these rumors? Do you think there's a good chance that Animal Crossing comes out in 2026? Please leave a comment below so we can discuss more about it. And if you made it this far in the video, I do really appreciate it. Please leave a like and subscribe. Looking at all the YouTube analytics and all of that, it is really helpful. I do want to say I'm not a full dedicated Nintendo YouTuber. At least that's not my mindset right now. If the audience comes and that's all they want, then maybe the channel will shift focus to that. I mean, I am primarily a Nintendo gamer at this point. But I do also play a lot of PS5. Actually, I've been playing more PS5 the past couple years than I have Nintendo consoles. I have an Xbox, but barely been playing that this generation. I do have a gaming PC, but again, you can only play so much. So lately, or at least right now for the next 6 months, it's strongly Nintendo Switch 2. But I do intend on playing Gears of War Reloaded, because Gears of War 1 is a huge comfort game for me. And so yeah, if you made it this far in the video, I just want that to be known in case you do want to subscribe, because, here's an Animal Crossing video, big Animal Crossing video, but, in a couple months, maybe I'm live streaming Gears of War, so it's like, woo, I didn't come here for an Animal Crossing. I subscribed for an Animal Crossing channel, now I'm getting Gears of War, very polar opposite, but, I do like all games, retro, new stuff, so, channel's young, but, if you're here, if you're listening right now at the end of this video and haven't clicked away already, I really appreciate you. You're more than welcome here. Leave a comment, discuss. I'm going to be responding to all comments right now, and yeah, see you guys in the next one.